to warp in, rush distances really don't matter once you put down a pylon.
That's true too. So it's not going to play a huge role here, the distances necessarily. Although with Colossus likely to show up, it's going to come down to where their armies clash and who has the more Colossus.
Indeed, I know firsthand that Cryptic usually likes to get about 4 gateways just to be safe from a 4 warp gate, and then transition into Colossi off 1 base, and that is extremely hard to beat unless their opponent knows what Cryptic's doing and does either like a 1 base Stargate with Phoenix or Void Rays, or what I've heard can work is if you go something like a 2 or 3 gate Robo, get a Warp Prism, get a couple Immortals. And the thing is, because Colossi are so gas intensive, they won't have enough gas to get a ton of Stalkers. So your Warp Prism won't really be in too much danger, and you can drop the Immortals behind the Zealots and behind the Colossi and try to snipe them off that way.
Interesting. I'll have to see if that shows up. I mean, in your game against Cryptic, he did do kind of a 1 base, 3 gate Robo into Colossus, and you had just a fantastic pylon placement. I dare say lucky as hell, because he was like, if you watch the replay of that pylon you set up was like surrounded by 2 additional pylons, and it was like you could not have put that in a more perfect spot to not get scouted in your game there. It was
too bad. In the end, it didn't really work out for me.
Yeah, in the end, unfortunately, it did not. But I mean, just watch where that pylon was and where his vision was. It was extremely close. And looks like the probe did get taken out there. Whose probe? Yeah, Will's probe got taken out by Cryptics. And looks like, he's got a 3-gate Robo going right now. Second gas going down. So Warp Gate tech being chrono boosted as well. Looks like both players doing the same build, 3-gate Robo and chrono boost on the Warp Gate tech, and they're about the same pace right now.
Mm-hmm. The only deviation, though, is that Will did get the robotics facility as his second production building before the 2 gateways, whereas Cryptic went with 3 gateways before the Robo. So Will have a slight tech advantage. He can get the Immortals out faster, but again, it all depends on what Will decides to do, because if he engages Cryptic in the no choke with just Zealot, Stalkers, and Immortals, again, first in experience, you can't win that way. The Colossi splash damage is just too much.
And we're certainly shaping up to be going up with a 1 base Colossus from both players right now. There's the Robo Bay from Cryptic, so he's going to be the first to get out Colossus, unless an attack comes first from Will. But for now, Will just getting Colossus. And we did see Will do that in his earlier games against Hemlock, the Zerg player. He would get about 3 Immortals and then some gateway units, and then go into Colossus. And it looks like he's getting ready to throw down his Robo Bay as soon as he gets 200 gas. And there he goes with that probe. And Stargate, excuse me. Spoke too soon, so a Stargate coming from Will. How do you feel about that, Wichigo?
I like it, actually. The thing is, Stargates are definitely the counter to 1 base Colossi, because again, you're so gas-starved on 1 base going Colossi, you can't afford a lot of Stalkers. The good thing is that Cryptic does have 3 gateways to fall back on, instead of just usually 2, which most people do when they do 1 base Colossi, so you can get those Stalkers up. But then again, Will has the Immortals, which hard counter the Stalkers, unless the Stalkers are in huge numbers.
True. First Colossus is coming out. Cryptic is moving out across the map. He's got a pylon warping in some units. Nice job there. He can kind of skip the ramp there and bypass that little walk around and go right down. And he should be bringing a probe with him to... Oh, he already's got a probe down here, setting up a series of proxy pylons as he goes. Cryptic very good about doing that. He kind of sets up a couple of proxies as he moves along the map, so that way he doesn't get too greedy. And first Colossus is out. Void Ray in production and on the way. Now, will the Stalker and Sentries be able to deal with the Void Ray that is coming out? And there's only 1 Sentry from Will, so he's not going to be able to wall off very much at all, especially on this wide ramp. And now here comes an engagement
down the ramp too.
Engagement on flat ground here, trying to focus down the Void Ray, and I think it's working. The Immortals not being microed very effectively at all. The Immortals going down too. Colossus taking some damage, but he's done a ton of damage as well. Colossus has 3 kills. And now in a fantastic spot, Cryptic charging along here. Plenty of units. Void Ray just going under production here. And so that Void Ray not going to be able to come out. And only 3 gateways here. This is going to be a good game from Will. Unless these 3 Stalkers can somehow come and snipe this Colossus, which they possibly could. But now warping in plenty of units. Will that Colossus get away? Oh my god, 12 health on the Colossus.
And Will pulling probes, and well, when you get to this point, it's pretty much game over.
Yeah, these Zealots just making short work of the probes. Will calls good game and goes up 1-0 in this first best of 3 series. Now, Will needs to win the next 2 games in a row if he hopes to win this tournament in his first best of 3. And Cryptic is playing from behind, as we said before. So Will will choose the map. And we shall proceed from there. And we are keeping our eyes open for Norm Chan to return. He did say he hoped to be back in time for the finals. They have begun, but they have not passed us by just yet. And Will's going to decide on the map. And we'll get right to it. And I think we should have known it was coming. Tal'Darim Altar is the choice by Will. Let's get you in here.
He's quite fond of that map, ain't he?
Yeah, he is.
Cryptic being a little BM.
Oh, wow, look at that. Son of a bee. Oh. And we're just trying to get this game set up here. Wonder is no longer with us, so we need to get him out of here and see if we can get the other guy in, and then we're good.
It'll be interesting to see how Will adjust to the play of Cryptic here, and as well with Cryptic. That's the thing. He has that build, but he can go 3-gate robo, he can go 4-gate robo. So there's just so many ways that you can kind of play around with that build. If he goes blind Stargate and somehow Cryptic manages to see it, he can easily switch off and do 4 warp gates. And Phoenix are not that good against 4 warp gate.
No, I don't think it is either. And here we are on Tal'Darim Altar. Both players spawning on the right side of the map. Cryptic in the upper right position at 1 o'clock. Down here at 5 o'clock is Will, who needs to win this game and in the following game to actually win the entire tournament. If Cryptic wins this game, we will go into another best of 3 between these 2 players because Cryptic is coming from the loser's bracket. So he's got to fight a little harder for it. But as we talked about, he did do that same feat last month. So perhaps a little bit of strategy on his part there, fighting from the loser's bracket, and just says, hey, I'll take the finals in a couple of best of 3s.
Yeah, definitely.
And I was talking to Norm about this earlier, just the suggestion of proxy Stargate or proxy Dark Templars even in a PvP on this map, and he thought the idea was okay. How do you feel about it on this map, Wichigo?
Proxy Stargate could work fairly well. Again, if your opponent is not going mass stalkers, one of the more popular builds in PvP nowadays are 3-gate blink stalkers. So you go Void Rays, definitely not so good. As for proxy DTs, again, depending on your opponent's build, it could work. The only problem is compared to some of the other maps out there, The choke here is fairly big. You can't just block it off with one force field, and as well, depending on where you decide to kind of, like if you're walling off at the ramp there or force fielding between your natural and your main base, there is no high ground. So if a pylon is placed there, they can easily warp past your force fields.
That sounds like an absolute pain in the butt. Will Scout coming into the base of Cryptic. Cryptic, we did see him make this exact same base earlier in the day here on Tal'Darim in the exact same spawning position, kind of SimCity building his base in here. Actually kind of locking that probe in almost, and nice try. Probe is able to get out. Now a little dance of the probes here, chasing one another, longing for each other. A second gateway going down for Will alongside of his cyber core there. Two pylons up, pretty standard for both players so far. And there goes the second gateway for Cryptic as well, a little bit behind. Getting that warp gate tech started. If I didn't know better, I'd say that Will's just a little bit ahead by just a couple of seconds right now. But so far, so good from both players. Same play. The joys. The joys of the first 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes of PvP. Robo facility going down now for Will, however. And a third gateway going down for Cryptic. And he's looking for proxy pylons. Doesn't seem like any player has done that yet. Cryptic does have a probe in the base of Will, but he's actually using it just to kind of poke around and get a view of things. He's going to see the Robo facility. He's going to see the third gateway go down as well. Now Cryptic is trying to swipe away at Will's probe, and both players doing a good job of scouting in this game. Been really impressed in all their games today, and this one especially as well. Just keeping those probes active, keeping as much information as possible, and they're very paranoid. They're scouting their bases. They're looking for proxy pylons wherever they can. And obviously that's a big worry to have in a PvP.
This is very interesting from Cryptic. He was making Zealots all along. He has 2 more about to pop out, and he's only starting his first Stalker now. Or, well, it's almost finished, but that's very interesting as he's been mining gas for a while, so it's kind of odd for him to be going so Zealot heavy. Most Protoss players tend to favor the Stalker.
Yeah, it is peculiar, and he just has 3 gateways right now, so I have to wonder what is he saving up for right now. And he is pushing across with these Zealots. There's a Robo facility going down in the production tab for Cryptic, so there it is. But Will's already had a Robo facility up for a while now, and a second Immortal's being chrono boosted out, so I have to wonder why Cryptic is so far behind with this build here, or if it's all part of some plan that we've missed.
It is perhaps he decided he wanted to save his gas a little bit earlier on to get Colossi faster.
Yeah, it's very possible. He is staging for a bit of an attack here, though, but it's not going to go very well with an Immortal out. 2 Immortals. Some Zealots and 2 Immortals right now. No Stalkers or Sentries for Will at this time. But do you think these Immortals are going to be enough to send Cryptic running?
Most definitely. I mean, the Zealot counts are even, and the thing is, both Stalkers and Immortals are not that good against Zealots. So if you take that into account, Cryptic has reinforced with a couple more Zealots, but before when they were even, the Immortals would have shredded those 4 Stalkers, no problem.
Yeah, I agree, and now Cryptic falling behind further, in my opinion. Robobay already halfway done for Will, so he's going to be having Colossus soon. Meanwhile, Cryptic just getting out his first Immortal, and it's way back at his base, so it's going to take forever to get down here. He has brought 2 Sentries, and he's definitely dancing around outside the base here, but, I mean, there's going to be... Actually, supply blocked right now. Will is supply blocked. And these Stalkers and
Sentries
Sentries...
down from Cryptic, not really doing much.
And he's got to pull back a little bit here. And Will was supply blocked a little bit now, and now getting a third Immortal and just more Zealots coming from him. He's trying to save all the gas he can to get out a Colossus, or perhaps go for the Thermal Lance, although in this case it's probably going to be the Colossus just off this one base. And as Cryptic just skipping Colossus altogether, no Robo Bay. He's trying to win this game without even getting it to Colossus. Unfortunately, he's going to have to do it quickly, as I'm sure a Colossus will go into production in just a few seconds here from Will. And there it goes. Cryptic with an Immortal of his own now, and a decent-sized force, and the Sentries do have enough for force fields again, so let's see how this engagement goes. He's got to make it happen now before the Colossus come out.